Dictation start after 3 seconds. All this has usually a decisive impact at the higher levels of decision making and administration in the universities. For both the representatives of college managements and of teachers, secure representation in the various bodies of the universities of which they form a part. Changes in the instruction and structure and content of course are therefore usually registered if they call for more appointments at the college level, then the managements are prepared to make, or if much more effort is required on the part of the existing staff. If any teaching is organized at the university level, as is generally done for postgraduate courses, the principle of representation has to be usually given considerable weight irrespective of academic considerations. The various sectional interests involved have to be taken into account. Also, when examiners are appointed by universities and sometimes even when the results of the examiners are declared, university as organized now are in fact highly vulnerable to pressures of various kinds. The representation given to colleges, the system of elections to the more important decision making bodies, and direct dependence on government grants all potential instruments for gaining influence and exerting pressure within universities. It is not surprising, therefore, that when teachers and students are also free to participate in political activity, universities get affected very quickly by all undercurrents and conflicts in the society of which they are a part. One of the major problems now is that while political forces are able to gain entry very easily, the universities do not have the means for effectively coping with them. Under these conditions, growth in size beyond a point becomes a particularly serious handicap. Not only are there few economies of scale to be gained by such expansion, but these economies set in through their greater vulnerability to pressure from outside and from within. This has become a major problem for many Indian universities. The growing tendencies towards regionalism in the country have also had serious effects on higher education. These tendencies are generally expressed in demands relating to the medium of instruction. Some of these demands are based on sound educational principles and are wholly justifiable, but in their most extreme form they usually indicate either ignorance of the medium requirements of higher education or inward looking conduct of a kind that places consideration of a selfish character above these requirements. In practice, both have been in evidence. More specifically, the problem arises when instruction at the postgraduate level is sought to be given in the regional languages. For most of the relevant literature at that level is usually not available. Sir, I rise to support the demands that have been placed before the House by the Home Minister. Sir, I need not remind the House that this year the Home Ministry's demands are being discussed in a context which can be described as almost unexampled. It is for the first time that we are discussing the demands of this ministry after the country passed through the period of the emergency that rocked the very basic structure of our constitution and our policy and make the common people of our country realize what they have lost with the eclipse of their fundamental rights and freedom. Sir, the 19th months of rule marked the culmination of concerted effort to undermine democracy. Those who wanted to destroy the democracy and convert our system into a totalitarian system had looked upon the Home Ministry as the main instrument for forcing their will on the nation. They want to substitute the role of law with a reign of terror to place individuals above the law, to provide immunity to those whom the group liked, and to harass all those who were looked upon as dangerous to the monopoly of power that the extra constitutional caucus wanted to preserve. The Home Minister was himself a captive of this caucus. It was particularly a totalitarian regime and was therefore bound to be a policy regime. That is why I would request the Home Minister that the whole police department should be therefore overhauled. Sir, I do not want to take the time of the House by listing the various agencies and organizations that were set up in the police department and the home department during emergency and before that. I also do not want to take the time of the House in describing the fabulous amounts of money that had been placed at the disposal of RA and other agencies. Even the money was placed at the disposal of certain individuals and that was exempted from the scrutiny of the Comptroller and Auditor General of India or the Parliament. I do not want to go into all these details, but I do not only request the Home Minister to go into these things and ensure that such things do not happen in future. Under the circumstances, sir, the task of the Home Minister is therefore one dismantling the police state that was built up by the previous government. Full stop.